righty. We are live and in effect here. Can you hear me?
Live.
Live
Yeah,
in effect. What's going on, T'Farri?
yeah.
welcome, welcome,
Today,
world.
huh?
I said, I'm just saying, what up to the world? We
Yeah,
live in effect. You know what I mean?
that's right.
Conversations recording T'Farri Solutions. Catch us on Biz Therapy Coaching, YouTube. As of right now, there's other platforms that are to follow very soon thereafter. So now I'll turn it back over to you. What you saying?
Yes, sir. Just saying, it's been a great week, a great day, and happy to be here. Happy to be
Good
here.
stuff. Good stuff. Good stuff. You got a pool behind you. You gonna swim in the day or something?
Yeah, it's actually rainy outdoors. But sometimes you just gotta get a little delusional about things and just imagine something
Absolutely.
else until it becomes your reality.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And so in
Mhm.
this space, I'm glad for you guys. I welcome you in to join me in creating a new environment for myself,
That's
even
right.
on this good rainy day.
That's right. That's right. That's right. I got my little picture. You can't really see it, but it's a um, land in the middle of an ocean with a tower, and the waves are hitting against it. So that's kind of like I'm a water baby. I love the ocean.
Okay. I was gonna ask, what is that symbolic of? Like, what stood out to you in that?
Water just calms my nerves.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? Calms my nerves. It's more like a relaxation, like a woosah type of deal.
So when I
The,
see you, I need to bring you a glass of water.
um, not really. That don't really, that don't really. Nah, that's a glass of water. Nah, not quite. You know, a picture of some water or some fishing or something. 'Cause I
Okay.
love the fish too.
Mhm.
Go to the mountains for connectivity. You know what
Mhm.
I mean?
Yes.
But
Yes.
yeah, man. So anyway, they don't want to hear too much about us. I don't think.
No, y'all ain't
Um,
come here for that.
yeah, we kind of having our production meeting right here live too.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I think what I want to really talk about is high level though is when you get punched in the gut as an entrepreneur, right?
Cool.
Um, yeah, because you get punched in the gut. There's getting punched in the gut, there's getting kicked in the gut, there's getting like, yo, where did my gut go, right? Like,
Mhm.
with situations, challenges, pain points, things that you didn't see, you know. Yeah, definitely unforeseen things that you don't see, and that um, these types of punched in the gut scenarios, whatever it is at the moment, they lend themselves to be preparatory training, if you will. Right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's good.
You
That's
know what
good
I
right
mean?
there. Keep going.
Preparatory, because you won't know. You can go to practice, whether you're playing baseball, basketball, football, karate, boxing. You can practice all day, but you won't really know how it works until you get in the ring.
That's true.
You know what I mean?
Corey, let me ask, have you had a punch in the gut moment this week and how did you handle it?
Man, I've been having a punch in the gut moment for the last, probably like the last few weeks. It don't
Mhm.
seem like it, right? Because I'm always smiling.
Mhm. He's smiling now.
You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Um, yeah, I just had to get real intentful on some things. I had to just pull that 18 wheeler like just really hard, like,
Ooh. Yeah.
and hold that sucker because it was trying to take me somewhere. You know what I
Mm.
mean? And,
Yeah.
and please excuse if you guys hear my doggy in the background.
We hear the dog.
She's it's raining outside and the neighbor is walking up and down the street.
Okay.
So she'll calm down in a moment. Sorry for the disturbance, but anyway, so it's just holding that 18 wheeler. You know what I mean? Holding that thing, holding it. Or the other piece I like to say is bow and arrow. When you hold that bow, the
Mm.
longer you hold the bow, the more on point you are for your target.
Mhm. Mhm.
Um, so it was business, personal, all everything is together, right? Nothing's separated in a sense.
That's true.
Um, for me, I kind of have to hold. I gotta play the chessboard a little bit differently than most. Not a comparison to others. It's just my chessboard setup is a little bit different than most.
So, Corey, let me ask you this: did you go through a grieving process at any point in those transitions?
Not necessarily this particular one because I've already gone through tons of grieving points being a entrepreneur, small business owner.
Mm-hmm.
So I understand when it comes to when it does come, I go, okay, hold up. I know what that is, right?
Okay.
I don't have to rush to the medicine. You know
So
what I
you get
mean?
prepared along the way for times like this.
You get you well, the situations prepare you for times like this.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have to ask yourself, okay, where am I leaking at? Where are my gaps?
Mm.
What do I got to tighten up? What what
Ooh.
what perspective was I getting comfortable with?
Mm.
You know what I mean?
Come on
Because
now.
we learn things, we get comfortable, and then we're like, okay, oh yeah, I got that. Let me go over
Mm.
here and do this. But when you got this and you over here doing this, you still got to be mindful of what could come out of it, right? Because what we always working against is the outside forces,
Yep.
environment.
Yep. And internal. There's some internal stuff we
I, I,
working.
I'm not saying that at all. It's all based off of internal. What you do internally in within without, right? As you know
Mm-hmm.
what I mean? However, again, there could be that. This is why awareness is important because subconsciously you don't know what has been created on the outside that's going to come right back to you,
Mm.
right? And so, and when you think that you're going to get into certain business situations, yes, your intent, as long as your intent is good, great. But a lot of times we can't really help what happens on the outside. We got to bring it back on the inside, and then
Yep.
we got to be able to see where we need to pivot. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Um, um, yeah. So, but there's a grieving process as when you're in business, you definitely grieve at every level
Mm-hmm.
because you're shedding more of your own weight
Mm.
and you're getting lighter. The
Mm.
goal is to get lighter in life.
Mm.
Carry baggage as you go up.
Mm.
And the more baggage you shed, 9 times out of 10, you shedding people, you shedding situations, you
Yep.
shedding beliefs that may be concreted in you somewhere.
Mm.
So you're yeah. So I find the journey is definitely about keeping oneself sharp, you know, doing whatever it is for you to keep yourself sharp because if you keep yourself sharp,
Mm-hmm.
everything else will take care of itself, right?
That's true. That's true.
So
Because
I
that's what you can control is yourself.
Yeah, for the most part. Unless when you hit that grieving, you be like, yo, you like, oh no, you're like, wait a minute, bumping bumper cars, what's going on, right? And it could your emotion, nervous system, right,
Mm.
and cause you to make, you get frantic and you'll make certain decisions or look at certain things a certain way, only to try to because your brain is trying to heal you from the pain, protect you from the pain.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? That's when your cortisol level rises, right? Most people go, I'm stressed. I don't know why. Now you got to understand some science. Cortisol. When
Mm-hmm.
cortisol rises, it's a chemical imbalance.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing you could do about that until you learn to relax yourself so your cortisol lowers,
Yeah.
right? And we don't
Yeah.
have to be doctors to know that, but it's important to know that as the type of business we're in. We have to turn off all the lights in the building. We don't get to walk out the building and leave the lights on.
Yeah, I think it's very critical what you mentioned about just understanding how the body and the mind works and just the science behind it. Because when you can understand the science that's behind all of it, I think it can also help you better regulate your emotions. Going back to the grief, understanding the five stages of grief. You have denial, you have sadness, you have anger, you have acceptance, which they say is the last one. And then there's one more: denial, anger, sadness. Is it I can't remember the fourth one, but there's one more. And I say that to say sometimes we're going through all of those at different times. And it could be in one day, it could be in 1 hour. Um, but just, being able to regulate your body, your emotions as you deal with loss. And loss can show up in different ways as a business owner. And so, what is your level of management when it comes to dealing with loss? And how quickly can you accept that this is what it is and then transition and pivot to this, new way of being and of living without that thing that you were holding on tight to? And so when you talk about lightness, what I've learned as an entrepreneur is that you can't be so attached to things of this world. You can't be so attached to people and ideas and to vision and to things. Like, you have to be flexible, nimble. And some people, and I think it's a skill set. It's not anything, for some people it comes easier than others, but for some you have to work at mastering that skill set of being agile. And so these, I think, are the characteristics of an entrepreneur that aren't really talked about enough. We talk about the business, like, okay, you need to know, your profit and loss statement and this and that, but there are some unseen characteristics, some internal things and skills that have to be worked on and mastered as well. And so, how do you work on those things proactively instead of reactively? And so, what are your thoughts on that, Corey? Like, how can we work on these things, these skill sets of mastering certain characteristics that are required to be a successful business owner proactively instead of reactively? Do you have any like frameworks or anything that can help the people on today?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. First of all, I'm like a wide receiver in the touchdown. Jansen on my toes. Like, wait a minute, I'm getting punked. I'm getting punked, right? I'm like,
Mhm.
I'm getting punked. I'm feeling some kind of way, right? What's
Mhm.
happening, right? So I get a little hype, but um, continuous improvement of self, right? And so there's a couple of things that can be done. Some things that I do. For one, I stay out of my head as much as possible, right? So if I need a change of perspective, I'm gonna go listen to an audio book,
Mm.
right? I got this app on my phone, so I listen to an audio book. I kind of slow down. I'm about to get back up there though, but I usually do like maybe 3 audio books per day. Um, they're about 15 to 18 minutes long. And if I like the audio of it, then I'll go and actually get the book. I'll go on Audible and get the full audio book,
Mhm.
right? I like to read. I like to hold the actual books in my hand. Now there's some that I will order that goes on my bookshelf right behind here, and I keep them. But to maximize my time, audio is the way to go, right? But like I said, I'll listen to a few audiobooks on my Headway app. And they're not sponsoring this mention either, just FYI, not yet. But anyway, then you got to have a plan. You got to have a plan. You got to look at your calendar and you got to have a plan. And
Mm-hmm.
the plan is, okay, well, what is happening? You got to take a moment to have introspection, because the two things you want to have is you want to be assertive and you want to be resilient. Those are your two functions, right? And if those are out of whack, you're not going to be able to um, move freely, right? So if you're not there yet and you're dealing with the shock of a loss, or even, even gains give you the same amount of anxiety as a loss.
Ooh, now that we gotta say that one. We gotta put that to the wall.
Yeah, I
'Cause
we'll
that's
put
a
a pin in
whole
that one.
nother
You know what
that's
I
a whole
mean?
nother
But
thing. Yeah.
yeah, that thing could, the gains could stretch you the whole, because you like, I don't even know where to go with it. So the loss piece is like, is it really a loss? You feeling it as loss. Your nervous system is saying, man, it's a loss. I'm feeling lost. But it might just be a closure for something else to open, right?
Come
And
on.
if for those of us that like to dance, I don't know any dance move that you only move forward. You still got to move back so you can move forward, or move back to move to the side. You know what I'm saying? So
That's good.
a loss moving back, you just got to go back to, you just got to step it up to keep the flow of the dance going for yourself.
Yeah.
And look at it from that perspective. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah. I like to take people on what's called the value quest.
Mm-hmm.
And on the quest, and this is how you like, it's a framework to use to discover your inner compass, to tell you, for you to talk, have a meeting with you and sit
Yeah.
down and say, okay, what direction are we going to go in next? And what that looks like is that we first question, what is your mind currently telling you?
Mm-hmm.
So you really have to, you talk about awareness a lot and self-awareness, where you really sit in, what am I currently thinking? And then you have to understand, is this the way I'm thinking now? And again, question your belief system. Is this in alignment with the things that I want? So question and understand, are you currently in alignment with the things that you say that you want? Evaluate
Mm-hmm.
it, right? Really look at, okay, this is what I'm thinking, this is what I want. Like you mentioned earlier, where are the gaps? Where am I falling short? Whether with
Mm-hmm.
how I'm thinking or how I am moving. And then if once you recognize that, then you got to come up with a plan. You got to strategize. What does this plan look like where I'm going to fill these gaps up? If there's a hole in our driveway, we have enough sense to know, hey, let me buy some rocks to fill it up. And for some of us, we'll even cover it up with some concrete, right? And so, if we can see that as clear as day, we have to see that clearly in our business practices as well. And that last thing is, taking action. And so, as I mentioned, once you strategize and you see where the gaps, the pieces that are missing, you're going to take action. You're not going to leave that hole there where you keep running into it, tearing up your car every day. And so, that if there are holes in our morning routine, if there are holes and gaps in our night routines, acknowledge it, question it. How is this serving me in alignment with the things that I say that I want? In our health, like in our in what we eat and how we fuel our body. If there are gaps in these areas, how can I fill this up? How can I move in a way that brings me in alignment with the things that I want? And so that's the framework that I use, the value quest, where you
Mm-hmm.
discover your inner compass, you question, you understand, you evaluate, you strategize, and take action.
Yeah, and I mean, that's pretty good. I mean, take that and lay it over your pain, your situation, right?
Absolutely.
Me again, I use sort of the same, but it's more like, what am I feeling and what am I telling myself initially,
Mhm,
right? And then,
mhm,
okay, and then once I get past that, I go, all right, what am I? So what are my options, right? So I use a
mhm.
growth framework, right? What is my goal? What is my reality? What is my options, and what is the way forward, right?
Ooh, I like that. Okay, say that one more time. Say it slow.
And grow. So
Grow.
it's goals,
Goals,
reality.
reality.
Like, what is my current reality right this second?
I'm
What am
glad you said that, because sometimes our current reality right now ain't even the reality. Like sometimes, like if we lose out on contract or opportunities, like, oh my god, I'm gonna be homeless and I ain't gonna be able to eat. And if we look at the reality of where we're at right now, rent has been paid for the month, our refrigerator's full of food, so let's bring that down a notch. Okay,
That's,
go ahead,
that's why
continue.
we got to look at the bigger picture,
Yeah.
because we will trick ourselves out of a situation very quickly. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Because your emotions only knows the current moment.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, it's like I'm sad right now, but then you're gonna be happy in another couple of hours.
You
You
could
know,
be.
or a couple of days or whatever it is. It's just, so options, right? And then a way forward. So what are your options, right? And then what is you find your way forward. If you can't find your way forward, man, my pops used to tell us all the time, look, if you can't find a way, make up a way,
Exactly.
hold on to that, believe it, and just go for it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so it's again, my way is a little, I try to share with people as much as I can. I more so try to show, just be the person instead of really, because a lot of people don't like, they don't want to listen, they don't want to do the work, or they'll start to do the work and then they'll bump up against themselves. And it's now it feels uncomfortable, and that's the key. When you feel uncomfortable, then that's when you're doing the work.
Yeah.
Right? When you feel uncomfortable, that's when you question yourself. When you feel uncomfortable, you're actually getting more, you're getting information. The uncomfortableness is information to your brain, to your body saying,
Mm.
hey, you gotta do this thing so you can become comfortable. And so some people don't want to go that route,
They
right?
don't. They really don't. Like I be having clients that be like, they want this life, but when it come down to doing the work behind it, they're not doing anything. And so it's just like, and I won't say, I would say these have been consults. These have been consults,
Okay.
you know, because for the folks that I choose to work with, you're ready to make some changes, right? You're tired of being sick and tired. So it's like, listen, what I've been doing is not working. I need some help and I'm ready to implement and take action. If you're not ready to take the action, don't come my way. Don't come. I'm not for you and we're not for each other.
Yeah, absolutely. Right. And I've, same here. I work with, I've had consultations with people that, it's really weird. Some people go, they're in denial. Then you got some that go, yeah, you're right. Oh, hello, everyone. Introducing Lola. I was trying to block her from not jumping in my chair, but I didn't do a good job.
No.
But anyway, then there are those that go, you know what? I know I need to change, but I'm not ready for that right now. Right. And
Yeah.
then even the ones that I do work with, they're like, I'm ready. I'm ready, but not ready. And I'm like, all right, just buckle up. You good. We about to go on this ride.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And then, but you got to find a way for those that are helping people, business owners, people. You got to find a way for something for them to grab a hold of for
Yeah.
themselves, right? It's I'm not in the
Absolutely.
I'm not in the business of telling you what you should be doing.
Mm-mm.
Right? I'm in the business of identifying where your gaps are and help walking alongside you so you could go, wait a minute, is that all I really needed to do was that? Right? It's like a math problem. And I use this scenario a lot. Growing up, doing math, arithmetic, mathematics, my pops, our homework. If we came up with the answer, if we came up with the answer directly, he go, where's the work?
Mm.
Right? Or if you go to him and you say, well, here's the answer, but this answer is wrong, right? And he goes, well, where's the work? So you got to write out your math problem. And the
Mm-hmm.
reason you write out your math problem is you could identify where your mistake is,
Come
not the
on.
whole problem, just where that particular mistake is.
Look at
And
that divine download. Go ahead now.
you know what I'm
Go
saying?
ahead.
So I apply that to life, period, right? And
Yeah.
if you can map it out, you don't have to be the best mapper. This is not about being the best. The only thing you need to be best at is your integrity. right? Because because the more you practice, you're gonna actually get better anyway.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
so it's like, life gave us the reverse. When you was little and you made a mistake, you like go sit in the corner with the clown hat on, your own punishment. You done
Hmm.
messed up your, you know what I mean? But when you grow older and you become a business person, the more mistakes you make, the better you become. Like, where is that quasi logic coming from? But I get it. You know what I'm saying? So it's trying to figure out your own way of your arithmetic or mathematic formula, right?
Hmm.
There's the basic laws of the land. There's the basic laws of life.
Mm.
There's basic rules, right? Now, where do you fit in?
You
How
know,
does it work for you?
yeah, when you mention that, that is actually an exercise I do with my clients, and I tell them this is your personal equation. If you don't do this right here, this is the result that you get.
Mm-hmm.
If you do this right here, this is the result that you'll get.
Mm-hmm.
And so if we sit down and kind of think about our patterns, okay, if I keep staying up all night, I'm not going to wake up early. If I want to wake up early to get my day started, to get in the gym, to get flowing, then I need to check out my nighttime routine, get that in order so that my morning routine can reflect the things that I want to do in the results given. So if I want to have a nice body, if I want you know to have more clients, like me plus this is going to equal this. And if you can keep that equation in your mind, your personal equation in your mind, it's going to change the game of how you move on a daily basis, on an hourly basis. There is some
Oh, I think we lost her for a moment. We'll be back. Yeah, you coming back slowly, slowly, slowly. You there? Okay, I think you're coming back.
uh,
There you go. I see your eyes moving.
okay. There's a storm coming, so it's a
Yeah,
lot
I
of
know. We
wind.
know. We know. Yeah, it's building up outside, but it's cool. Yeah, go ahead, continue.
Yeah, but I was just saying, like, we're not going to be so quick to take a smoke break with somebody, because it's just like, if I stop and take this smoke break with my friend, that's 3 hours of my day gone. If I sit here and scroll on social media um without intention or purpose, that's 2 hours of my day gone. Like, this is the pattern. So this is a surefire equation. Like, it doesn't deviate,
Then
right?
you gotta ask yourself. Then you gotta ask yourself what you're getting programmed to,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because if you scrolling, what are you getting programmed to? What if you having smoke breaks? What are you getting programmed to, right? So
Exactly.
because
That's
it's like
good.
music. It's like music. They say the number one thing for emotional forgiveness within self is people turning on music. You vibe with certain music. That's what they say. Music is the language of the whole world. You don't
Mm,
have to know. You don't have to understand the language to appreciate the music or the vibe with it, right? So
that's
it,
true.
it boils down to programming. Like, what are you aware of your programming? Most times people are not, and then most times people are. You know, um, we use a framework in biz therapy for coaching. So I got two different levels: foundation and accelerate. Right? Foundation is making sure your structure's in place. Accelerate is your performance, because being in business, being doing anything well, achieving anything consistently has everything to do with how you perform, right? And so there's three main areas that sits on top of whichever program, whichever conversation that we go through, and that's timing, focus, and frustrations.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? If you understand your time management, you understand your focus, where is it at, and then you actually embrace your frustrations, which you've been talking about,
Mm-hmm.
you'll be able to kind of push through that, right? And use those value frameworks, like you said, because then by identifying those things, you're like, all right, well, what where am I placing value on this particular thing in this particular area that relates to myself?
Yeah. Yeah, that's good stuff. That's good stuff. So, Corey, let me ask you this. What can we leave? What do you think? We said a lot today, and we presented a lot of different frameworks. What is one thing you would like to leave the people with on today?
Two books. I'm gonna keep talking about y'all gonna hear. I'm gonna talk these books to death.
Talk about
Um, Seeing around corners
it.
and what got you here won't get you there.
Okay. Seeing around corners, what
Seeing
got
around
you
corners
here
won't
won't
get
get
you
you
there.
there. That's
Yep.
good. Title alone does
I'm telling
everything.
you, those books. I've talked about those books on other shows,
Let me go ahead
and
and get.
again, I use this app called Headway. They give you, they're 15, no longer than 20-minute reads, right? Um, yeah. So seeing around corners, right? And so basically, what they talk about, uncover strategies to adapt swiftly and strategically to unanticipated market shifts and harness inflection points for growth. Inflection points are your awareness points, right?
Mhm,
What are the early signs of change? How to lead through uncharted waters, the power of diverse insights, and turning disruptions into opportunities. You know what I mean? Then they give you
mhm,
some key
mhm.
takeaways in there, which is pretty good. So that's Seeing Around Corners by Rita McGrath.
Okay.
All right. And then the other one is What Got You Here.
Won't get you
Won't get
there.
you there. That's right. Right. By
Mhm,
Marshall Goldsmith and Mark Reeder. Right.
mhm,
So basically what they're saying is this is talking about trajectory and
mhm.
strengthening your leadership skills. Now, leadership is something that we all have. Leading and leadership, two different words. Sound like they're the same. They're not really the same, but they can be. They're in the same vicinity, but they definitely on two different sides. Won't really go into that right now. We could talk about that on another episode.
Mhm.
But everyone is a leader. Everyone leads, right? The leadership aspect, the ship part of it is navigating the waters of being a lead or leading, right? And so understanding what those habits are, what your habits are, what habits need to be in place in order to be a proper leader is important, right? Not easy, but very important. And so surrounding yourself with proper people, with good people, is going to help you level up. The struggle doesn't have to be the struggle doing it by yourself, right? Um, if you want to go fast,
Mhm.
go by
That's right.
yourself. If you want to go far, um, you know, um, don't go alone, right? One of
Mhm.
the key you still with me? Thank you there. One of the key points in this book talks about is, successful people are often afraid to change. Okay, are afraid to change anything about their routine and fear that it might affect their success,
Mm.
right? That's why I like these two books in particular, because
Mhm.
it speaks directly to the problem, right? We harbor and encourage several habits that can be bad for our march to success, right? So What got you here won't get you there. Excellent book. I think we lost uh to Met. Um,
I'm here.
you there? Okay, okay, okay. So yeah, so I leave people with that. Read something, learn something, and work on your plan. What is your daily routine? What are your habits? And do a positive and negative side, meaning, or I'll just say plus and minus side. What are your good habits, right? On the left side, what are your bad
Mhm.
habits on the right side? And in between, what are you trying to achieve? Put that down. And then you kind of draw a line from the positive to the negative habits to say, okay, if I do this positive habit, is it going to help me get here? Yeah. Okay, cool. Well, put a time on it, right? Then on the negative side, it's like, well, if I do this, is that going to get me there? Not really. So it's just about being honest with yourself. So
I was gonna say I would like to add after that honestly with yourself because I know folks who's like, all right, I know I need to hire some more people because the net that's required of me is out of, expertise. But for some reason you won't do it, right? And that there could be some other things. It could be trusting somebody this portion of, you know, sometimes you need to talk through that with somebody. And that's where I would say consider getting a coach. Consider having a coach, someone that you and can talk things through. Incredible how much it's a process and a coach can really, and as you mentioned, your core baggage that we can. And so,
hold on a second. Hold on a second. You breaking up.
as a
You
ally
breaking up.
with you on the, and so I is
Oh, much better now.
um okay. But I was just saying that you and I serve as allies on the journey to help you identify those blind spots while you're on your entrepreneurial journey. And so just check us out. I'm sure we both, I know I do, and I'm pretty sure you do, offer some complimentary consult where, if you just want to try us out and just, see if it may be a good fit, but just believe whatever time that we give you, and you're gonna get something out of it. So it will definitely not be a waste of your time. So I hope that you guys are able to take something to apply to your life on today. But that's what I want to leave you with. It's an invitation to discover more.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, definitely. You see down below, schedule a consultation with us. Biztherapycoaching.com, or you can email tafari.solutions@gmail.com. You can even go to tafarisolutions.com. Correct? Correct.
Yes,
So
correct.
definitely check us out. Stay tuned. We have more goodies coming up in our upcoming episodes. So we're going to be inviting in actual business owners as well, to kind of tell us about their journey, about their business, and why they do what they do. Just to share alike, right? This is where we get down to the nitty gritty and conversations about being an individual but a
Mhm.
business owner, and the challenges that we face, right? So
Absolutely.
if there's any ideas, definitely send over any questions, to us. You can email us some questions. Our email is, again, you can send your questions to T'Farri Solutions at Gmail, or info@biztherapy.info as well. I will add that to the next piece when I get a chance. I'll add that in. And that's all that we've got. We just wanted to, let everybody know. We're going to give you guys a day because we're live right now. We're going to give you a day that our lives actually work soon, because we're, as entrepreneurs and business owners, we got to shift a little bit. We are in tax season, so if you need some accounting and tax services as well, reach out. Reach out to haywardcpa.com for your tax and accounting services, even your bookkeeping. Small business owners, we got bookkeeping service as well too. So check us out over there. And I always like to say peace. And we're gonna hit you with our outro. So stay tuned.